to our ACDA High Voltage Recharge, where we electrify, power up, and inspire your teaching through conversations with practicing senior high school directors. Essentially, we're like your AirPods, 15 minutes and good to go. We try to do all those things as a high school director and don't have a lot of time to plug ourselves in during the school year. So we hope that you can use this tool to be an audio for your drive or to or from school, or put it on during your conference period, or whenever you need motivation. I'm Nathan Dame, the National Chair for Senior High School Choirs, and today we have Ted Brimeyer from Iowa, who's joining us as an outstanding choral director in that wonderful, wonderful state. Welcome, Ted.
Hey, thanks, Nathan. It's an honor to be here.
Well, you were recommended by a colleague of yours, Jeff Knutson, and we're just very excited to share your story a little bit. So, can you tell me why you love teaching high school choir?
Yeah, it's amazing to me what teenagers are capable of. I guess in my experience, um, I have really found that kids can take on anything, and I've been trusted to host a lot of student teachers so far in my career, and one of the things I talk to my mentees about is that I like to program for the choir that I want to be. And I find that these youngsters are able, and not only able, but really hungry to be part of something special and to do something unique and not mundane. And I think that translates with good scaffolding and good teaching, that can allow them to achieve at the highest levels and tackle the biggest challenges in our art form. And we meet them where they're at the start of the year. I always come in August planning to have the choir I had in May, and every single year in this is year 16 for me, and in every single year I find myself surprised and remembering, okay, yep, all right, it's time to get back to basics, and it's time to rebuild the sandcastle, so to speak. And uh, I was talking with a friend about that, and he reminded me that teaching wouldn't be much of a job if they were always if our students were always performing at a high level. So I find great joy in the challenge and great reward in the growth that occurs over the course of a school year.
That's awesome. The sandcastle reference is great, and maybe those waves of change with the ocean there are the classes going in and out there. So trying to come at that sandcastle, I'm dealing with the same thing myself. It's like you should be able to do this, but you've forgotten a little bit over that summer. So
Yeah, they
yeah,
do. That tends to happen. Yes.
yeah. So you were described as somebody who's very passionate, very energetic about kids. Can you kind of walk through a little bit about what your choir program is like? Maybe a typical day for you at your school.
Yeah, so right now in the fall, we start our day, as we were chatting before we started recording, we start our day with all state chorus audition prep. In Iowa, we have a monstrous choir of 600 voices that's selected from a kind of unique audition process where students learn the repertoire in an SATB unaccompanied quartet situation. So one kid on a part. All right. So we're helping these teenagers become proficient in singing this repertoire just truly as a soloist, not only as a soloist, but then against other parts. So it's a really rigorous, demanding process, and it's actually like it's a great way to start the day. Is coming in with these really go-getter singers who are willing to fail and willing to make mistakes on the road to self-improvement, and that really helps build our program in getting these leaders, these vocal leaders in our choirs really going. We have four curricular choirs at Urbandale. We have a 100 voice bass clef choir, grades 9 through 12. We have a 100 voice concert choir, which is a treble ensemble. That's our entry level group. I direct that. We have a 60 voice auditioned treble group, and we have a 50 voice auditioned mixed group. Those are our curricular groups. With the wonderful pandemic that we've all been working through, our school decided to move to a full block schedule. So I see, yeah, and I see your reaction on the video. That has been something we're working through. So we have really long chunks of time. We have 85-minute classes. So I see the kids 3 times a week. Um, one of those days is a short day for 35 minutes. So it's getting strategic and also changing the way that we instruct kids to try and retain as much as we can through those long gaps when we don't get to see our kids. In terms of extracurriculars, we offer, I guess I should start with co-curriculars. We offer a co-curricular opt-in lesson program. And last year we had our program record of 125 kids performing at our solo contest. We have roughly 300 singers in our program. So that's really awesome, and we really push that.
Mhm.
Um, and when students opt into our program, we provide them lessons at no cost, and we do a lot of fundraising to cover that. And the only stipulation is that you will perform at solo contest.
Okay.
That's an accountability thing that we expect of them. And then extracurricularly, we offer two show choirs, a varsity and a JV. Both are mixed ensembles.
It's wonderful. So, with your private lesson program, I've heard some directors do those themselves. Do you source those out by like any other people in the community, or how does that work?
Yeah, the choir staff here handles many of the lessons, and then we actually bring in what we call them adjunct voice instructors
Hmm.
that we compensate through our community education program in the district, which is funded with our program's fundraised monies.
Wonderful. Thank you for that.
Yep.
Yeah, I've taught on both block and traditional, and there are some pros to block. You can really dig in a little more in rehearsals, but you pay for it in those days in between. So, best wishes there as you
Yeah,
navigate that. I know.
yep, it's a challenge. The I'd rather see the kids more frequently, but we're doing the best we can, and they've kept a positive attitude. It is the best part of my day when those kids walk into the choir room.
I love that.
They go,
So you've got 100 voice, bass choir there, or 9 through 12 treble choir, large classes. That's a lot of energy coming into your room at once. So what are some great ways that you get those kiddos focused and you build that sense of community at the beginning of your rehearsal?
Yeah, one thing that our choir officers have started, we don't do this as much with the bass choir. I don't direct that group anymore. I used to. In our mixed chorus, our officers head up something called positivity boosts. And what
Hmm.
we do is we use an anonymous or non-anonymous form, and students will essentially write affirmations about other members of the choir, and then those are shared with the choir. Um, During the rehearsal, and that it's really a beautiful thing to just watch these kids build each other up. Frequently kids won't know where or who these compliments are coming from, and just the sincerity and um, beauty, of course the humor, all of those things that come out is a great way for us to really remember why we're all here. We're here to make music at a high level, but I think most of us, at least, why did I get involved singing in high school in the first place? Well, it's because my friends convinced me to do it as a freshman. And so that community aspect, which at least now in my life and in our school culture, is almost becoming cliche. It's talked about so much. It really is. I think we're realizing over the past 24 months just how important this is to all of us.
Absolutely. Now, do you feel like that's a thing that's promoted within your school, or it really just starts in your program? And then because your program is so active and large, do you think that kind of, builds itself out into the school?
I think it's always existed in our school, and I
Okay.
think when we have started becoming more vocal and visible in the school culture, I think people have taken notice, and now it has become a real central focus of what we as a staff at Urbandale High School are working to promote in our classrooms.
That's great. So if you want to use mixed choir or treble choir, whichever one works best for you, but can you give us kind of one of your favorite warm-ups that you might use for building tone? with your singers, maybe especially as they're developing as an ensemble?
Yeah, absolutely. I think my ear has drifted over the years to really liking a bright, forward focused, resonant sound. And I think perhaps that's just because of years of coming in August, working with what I call the treble hairdryer choir. And
Yep.
so, just really, we talk a lot about SpongeBob and Patrick. And so, just really getting that tone up and forward and buzzy. I really like, I love that that is now going to be on this national ACDA podcast.
Yes.
Um, I really love what I would maybe call like the telephone warm up. We sing bring e. Anything with that NG vowel is going to get, or the NG sort of held consonant situation, and then opening up. I love an E vowel for me. It's funny because I sang with Jim Rohde in the Iowa State Singers, and he would always talk about, let's take the horizontal out of the vowel. Let's get more vertical in the vowel. And at least with my young singers, when I'm trying to help them discover the resonance within their voices, I'm constantly talking about the opposite. Let's spread that vowel as horizontal as we can get. Let's find that really buzzy, resonant, healthy place for sustainable singing, and then we'll add the beauty after that. So, yeah, the bring E and just helping them understand, like using that NG to set up that E vowel, which then you can change, of course, to any other vowel, just really helps them find this place of maximum presence in their voice. And I guess because I'm a show choir director, and it seems like the trend in show choir is always louder, 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 louder. I'm really committed to helping my singers understand how to sing healthfully and sustainably so they can be singing when they're 90 years old. And quite frankly, so I mean, I'm 37, so I can be demonstrating, and so I can sing every single day. So I have
Mhm.
to model that too.
Well, and that resonance, being able to project, that leads itself to projection too in a healthy
Mhm.
way. So good for you. I love that. And I love the connections between the curricular and the co-curricular in theirs too. So yeah, your kids ever like ask for any warm-ups by any chance? Like, I love that, or can we do this?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm usually just so ready to get to the repertoire that I will admit to being bad at not always committing to, the full 15-minute warm-up regimen. We do some I personally love the silly physical things. I just
Hmm.
love getting in the room. I love being part of, this massive humanity on our risers. And so we do, like my teaching partner John Edgton uh, does a warm up that I call cha cha hands. And it's loud, it's crazy, it's wild. And it's most importantly, I think it works to sort of diffuse the too cool for school attitude. It's like once you walk into our choir room, you just have to be willing to be silly and crazy. And I guess for me, that mirrors my personality. So yeah, I mean it's we run into the room and it's like hands up, cha cha, cha cha, hands down, cha cha, cha cha. And there's a lot more to it, and people can email me. I've got a video of it, I'll send them. Or Nathan, I can send you a video of the silly cha cha hands
That'd be
warm up.
great.
I want to
Yeah.
post
Why
that
don't
up
you,
with
why don't you
this.
send that to me and I'll add that to the thing here. So 300 kids, that's a lot in your school. So choir is obviously a very popular thing. So how do you work to recruit and retain those kiddos?
The relentless pursuit of every kid in the
Yes.
hallway. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody
Okay.
knows this. Everybody knows this story. It's the constant conversation with kids about, hey, you should join choir. And what do you think the most common response I get is, I can't sing. And
Hmm.
my response is, listen, we got a lot of kids in choir who don't sing super well. And that's the point. I mean, this is the point of the class, right? Like we're here to learn, we're here to get better. So, I mean, when I started as a young singer, I certainly didn't know it all. I had a good falsetto. That's what I could do. But I mean, we're here to help you get better, and we're
Yeah.
here to help you be part of something special. This is not sit and get environment. Like you're going to
Mhm.
be doing things for our 85-minute class period. We try and be as visible as we can at the middle school. We send our prospective all-staters down there to show them about the process. We do a Pops concert in February, which is not the most musically rigorous, but it is fun, and we just lean into the silliness of that. We offer the opportunity for students to perform as sort of a small group or solo act in between the large choirs for that Pops concert, and we take those acts to the middle school again. We host 2 summer camps. We do a summer show choir camp for kids um, from 4th through 9th grade, and we split that into 2 groups. And we also do a summer all-state camp, and that's open to kids from any district that all-state. Well, both camps are, and so that we're trying to get kids in the door and just understand what what it is that we do. I was sitting at my daughter's soccer practice last night, and I just thought to myself, I wonder if, like, for the longest time we never struggled with recruiting bass clef voices. We never had that struggle. And people would think, "Oh, with a bass choir of 100 voices, you're clearly not struggling." But we really have to work hard for that. And I wonder if with the general population, if our program isn't seen as approachable, I wonder if we're seen as intimidating. And so, what can we do to break down those barriers? What can we do to be as welcome, warm, and inviting as possible? Um,
Mm.
and of course, what does that start with? It starts with the kids. We tell the kids all the time, you are the most powerful recruiter for this program.
Absolutely. So, if you want to go with mixed or treble or bass, we are always looking to share repertoire with our members because that is one of the most important things. But I like to call it kind of choir crack. So, what are those songs that right there that they leave your room singing? You have like 2 or 3 that you want to share?
Yeah, I mean, my favorite piece of all time, SATB, is the Holst Nunc Dimittis. It's hard. I mean, there's a lot of 8-part divisi there. There's a fugue at the end. But it is just, to me, I don't know if that's so much choir crack for the kids, but for me as a choral director, it has everything. So that is a tune. I think we did it in spring of 2016, and it's like, okay, when the kids are ready, when we've recovered skill wise from COVID, like that one's going to be coming out again. Um, I Elaine Hagenberg is a dear friend. She lives just down the street, and I we love Elaine's music. We have been really blessed to be able to commission several works from her. She's written My Companion, which is our choir's like traditional end of year senior send off piece. It was written in memory of a grandfather of one of our choir members who passed away. But we sing a lot of Elaine Hagenberg stuff. Elaine's music is so good at giving every part something special,
Mhm.
and the lyricism with which she writes. I mean, she's a brilliant singer herself, and you can discern that in how she writes for the entire ensemble. I Right now with our entry level treble group, we're singing Ryan Murphy's arrangement of Flight, which is the Craig Carnelia um, music theater tune. And forgive me if I'm not pronouncing any of these names right. I'm doing my best, but that's one of those tunes that when I ask the choir to get out their scores, you hear the yes, under their breath. So which is how I feel when I listen to it. Like it's a tune that um, is really relatable for all people, but I think especially for younger treble singers, the text in that piece is something, and the way just the melodic content um, is it's repetitive, and yet there's a enough development to keep it interesting.
Thanks for those recommendations. We have a
Mhm.
list that we're putting together on the ACDA website for each of the people that come onto our program. So we're just starting to develop that as we go. You've given us so many great tips here. Thinking about your past self, would you give yourself any recommendations as a brand new teacher? Because we have a lot of teachers coming into the profession for the first time, maybe get trying and seeking out resources. So what would you tell those senior high directors if they're young in the profession?
I was so obsessed with having to prove myself. I was so obsessed with what my peer directors thought of my work. And because of that, I pushed myself to be the very best I could be, but then I also carried a lot of stress, a lot of angst, a lot of just self-inflicted pressure. And so I do think we are headed in the right direction, or perhaps this is my experience and my age now in the career, but I feel like we're doing a better job about talking about mental health and about accepting the best effort that we can contribute on any given day. And as we reflect on our day as a teacher, we know that every single day there are going to be failures. And let's also remember to reflect on the joys and the massive successes. And so many of those things, the joys and massive successes, may not be musical things. And so we're doing so much more than teaching literacy and repertoire and intonation and theory. There's so much of what we do that is about cultivating good human beings. And I think if that is the foundation of what we do in our profession, if we focus on first and foremost, we're going to make sure our choirs are raised well as human beings, the music will absolutely take care of itself. And giving yourself grace as an educator to not be perfect. Because
Absolutely.
we all know the kids aren't going to be perfect, so we don't have to
Yeah,
be perfect either.
I kind of honestly had some of the same struggles as far as I think we're similar in our path as far as, number of years teaching. So, it's finding the balance of being a good choir director while also taking care of yourself. So you mentioned going to your daughter's soccer game. Are there, you've got a family. And so how do you find time for your life outside of being a choir director?
These last few years, I've gotten a lot better at closing the computer. I still bring it home with me every day, but a lot of days it just stays in the bag. My email response times aren't as quick as I would like them to be. I'm trying to be more mindful and more present in every moment. So when I'm at work, I'm going to really focus on the kids. And when I go home, I'm going to really focus on my kids. I'm going to really focus on my family. And it's also enlisting the help of our village. We're really fortunate. We have family in town, so grandma and grandpa are going to help us get the kids soccer, and then we'll pick them up. And I'm going to go early so I can watch and be able to be a part of their lives. So, and this goes back to what we were talking about earlier, is that uh, you don't have to prove yourself, and give your best effort, and then allow yourself to be satisfied with that and walk away. And um, I was just listening to an interview with somebody who was nominated for and won an Emmy, and the interviewer was talking about just the years of hard work that have gone into then this one moment of recognition. And I think all of us need to remember that, the years of hard work are worth it, and they make a difference. And some of us may be recognized in some tangible way, and for some of us that recognition that we want or desire may not come in the form we wish it would. And finding joy and satisfaction in, I think, the daily triumphs is just really key in this career.
I feel like I'm learning and inspired by you talking today. So
Mhm. You're
truly,
very
thank
kind.
you from another, another high school director. Just I appreciate your perspective and your love for kids is so very evident. I know that I would love to be able to sing in your program. So I just thank you so much for your time today. But the last question we have is we want to be able to find amazing choral directors around the country. And I am limited in the circle of influence in which I have. So who is somebody, maybe in your area or from another state that we need to get to know?
Yeah, I'm gonna just fire off rapid fire because there are, I mean, the only success I've had is because of so many amazing individuals in my life inspiring me and pushing me forward. Some of my contemporaries who aren't teaching high school anymore, these people have moved on to the collegiate world, would be like Dr. Ryan Beacon at Wichita and Dr. Amy Voorhees at Susquehanna. They
Okay.
both have extensive high school experience and are obviously working with high school kids in festival situations. I think Carrie Tennant with the Vancouver Youth Choir is doing some of the most interesting work in our field. We had the opportunity to see her and her choir in in Kansas City in 2019, and just I have so much respect for her and the outside the box programming that she does. Um, Dr. Derek Fox at University of Nebraska Omaha and the work he does in equity and inclusion and just being a voice for what's right in choral singing is, I mean, he's just the man and an amazing human. I'm really blessed to be inspired artistically by Dr. Eric Barnum at Drake, and I do the treble choir there, and he just being able to be in his circle and to watch how he conceives programs and puts together tunes is mind blowing to me. In the high school world, I really respect the work that Philip Brown is doing up in the Twin Cities, both at his new high school gig at Totino Grace and with his community group there, and Chris Monu at in the Denver area obviously is very visible, and I see what he does with his singers and how how engaged he is with the greater ACDA community, and just really have a lot of admiration for him and his work.
Thank you for those, and we hope we can
Sorry, it's a
connect with
list.
them.
Yeah.
No, that's great. I love being able to branch out because, like you said, the best recruiters, quote unquote, are the kids. So in this thing, the best recruiters and best people are going to be from wonderful experts like yourself. So we just so appreciate you, Ted, for being here, and we wish you the absolute best for the rest of your school year. Thanks so much.
It's my pleasure, Nathan. Thanks so much.
Thank you.